Today we're talking about the Promethean 500 Interactive Whiteboard. And whenever we talk about the Promethean 500 Interactive Whiteboard, we're really focusing on 3 points in everything that we talk about it. First, it supports 4 points of touch. Now what does that mean? Well, unlike other interactive whiteboards, you can actually get 4 students out of their seats, up at the board, working together, and they can all be manipulating images and information on the board all at the same time. Because again, it supports 4 points of touch. And one of the great things about that is that it also only recognizes intentional touch. Now what does that mean? Well, other whiteboards, if you put your hand on the board or if you make an unintentional gesture, it'll recognize that as something like an erase gesture, or it'll move the board. The Promethean 500 won't react that way because it's programmed to recognize only intentional touch. So you don't have to worry when you have young learners at the board doing writing exercises, leaning. Your lefties like me that need to put their hand firmly down on a surface as they're writing, doing anything to interrupt the lesson. It's not going to be recognized as an erase mark. The board's not going to move. Again, the 4 points of touch don't allow for that. Now, we also talk about that it uses, Promethean 500 utilizes pen and touch technology. It's a huge deal. So not only are you going to be using the pen at the Promethean 500 to do your writing exercises, manipulating images, but you're also going to have your students at the board using touch technology. And the cool thing about that is touch technology is already something that students are used to. Everybody at their home, they have things like iPads, they have Android tablets, they have smartphones. These are all gestures that students in today's classrooms are accustomed to making, and all of these touch functions are going to react to those natural gestures. So they can flick, they can pinch, they can resize, they can rescale. Again, this is technology and functionality that students are already used to that you can now apply directly into the classroom. And the third point when you talk about a Promethean 500 interactive whiteboard, it encourages collaborative learning. The whole point is to get everybody engaged. We're building a 21st century classroom, and the Promethean 500 goes a long way to building that. You get the students out of their seats, interacting directly with their lessons. Now today we have in the studio Tess Arnaud, who's going to be showing off one of the most fantastic features of the Promethean product family, and that's active expression. It's their learner response system, and you're going to see Tess do some pretty amazing things with that. So with that, I'm going to go straight to Tess. Tess, take it away.
Today we're going to talk about how to facilitate a large group discussion. We're going to be using Noteboard that you can get off Promethean Planet, and we're going to be using our learner response systems, the active expression. On the active expression, you have a full QWERTY keyboard, which is really great because that texting that kids have become so good at with their cell phones, now they can use them in the classroom. You can use the active expression, and a student, no matter where they are in the classroom, can text in their answers. It's really great for those students who might feel shy or a little uncomfortable talking in front of the class. They can still participate in the discussion. So let's say we're going to the zoo next week, and we're going to be taking a field trip. We want to talk about habitats. Let's get the whole class involved brainstorming what habitats we think we might see at the zoo. First of all, I'm going to start my word seed. When you start the word seed, then all the students in the class can use their active expression to send in that information. You can also have a student at the board writing at the same time. So let's say we're going to add desert as one of our habitats that we think we might see. Can change this to text. We can move it, and we can connect it just like we have the other answers. So we have the mountain, the jungle, the forest, and we can move those around to continue our discussion. So let's say we're going to talk about the forest. What animals we might think we might see in the habitat. Again, we have to start that word seed. So now we're going to drill down. What animals do you think we would see in the forest? Why would they be in the forest? And we can continue that discussion. Again, every student is involved because they have a way to participate, even if you have students that are on the board. This is a way to continue conversations. Now, we go to the zoo next week, we gather information, we find out about habitats, we come back. We can save this information so that when we come back, we can go back to it, we can rearrange. So let's say we see the pandas, we see the cougars, but maybe when we went to the zoo, we didn't see a bear in the forest. We could take that off, or we could simply rearrange it because we've saved it and we can refer back to it. Using the learner response system and Noteboard is a great way to get everyone involved in those large group discussions, using pen, using touch, all with that Promethean 500 interactive whiteboard.
Now, before we wrap things up, I want to talk about just a few more resources that are available to you when you use not only the Promethean 500 interactive whiteboard, but Promethean products in general, and that's called Promethean Planet. Now, Promethean Planet is basically your one and only stop for all things Promethean. Now, Tess today, she was doing Active Expressions, and when you work in Promethean, you're going to use a program called Active Inspire, and you're going to make flip charts. All of your lessons will be based in that. So what I want to talk about is how to get free flip charts. So when you go to Promethean Planet, you go to a section called Resources. And Resources is where you go to get anything and everything involving flip charts. Now, some of that content is going to be premium content. There will be a charge for it, sometimes $4, sometimes $10, just depending on the flip chart itself. And that's made by Promethean. However, the bulk of the content available on Promethean Planet is free flip charts, free content made by teachers for teachers. When you start going through these flip charts when you're planning your lesson, these ready-made flip charts, not only will you be able to preview them before you download them, but once you download them, the flip chart is yours to do with as you see fit. You can use as much of it as you want, you can use as little of it as you want, you can add to it, you can take away from it. The point is, that flip chart, once you download it from Promethean Planet, is now yours. Another cool resource on Promethean Planet is a section called Community, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a meet and greet for teachers, exchange of ideas. Teachers get together, they post on blogs, they have message boards. There's resources available for teachers, not only with in conjunction with Promethean 500s, 100s, or 300s, but also just general teaching information passed back and forth between teachers. And then finally, on Promethean Planet, there's professional development. Again, that's exactly what it sounds like. Promethean knows that this may be your first time using a Promethean product, or you may be a seasoned veteran at it and you just want to know more about flip charts, Active Expression, Active Engage Mobile, things like that. Well, that's where you would go to find that information. And the greatest part about Promethean Planet, absolutely free. You get on, you get a username created, get a profile set up. It takes just a few minutes, and then you have access to that wealth of information provided by Promethean. Again, it's PrometheanPlanet.com. Well, that wraps up today's installment of LogicalChoice.tv. I would like to thank you for tuning in today. And until next time, I'm Chris Brenneman.
Did you know that no matter your budget, Logical Choice has a Promethean bundle price just for you? For as little as $1,985, you can get a 78-inch active board complete with installation and Active Inspire Professional. Whether you're looking for a 100 series, 300 series, or a 500 series Promethean interactive whiteboard, Logical Choice is ready to help transform your classroom into the 21st century learning environment.